She slid the envelope across the crisp white tablecloth, as if she were passing me a birthday card instead of something meant to slice me open. "From all of us," she said. My husband, his sister, and their smug mother sat back, watching like spectators at a show, waiting for the moment I would break. When I tore it open, the first thing that caught my eye wasn't the headline, it was the fact that they had misspelled my name. Then came the words, "Petition for divorce." He already had his phone out, camera pointed at me. "I want to capture your face," he said, "for the memory." The three of them beamed, convinced they had triumphed. So I smiled too. I signed the papers without hesitation, slipped the pen into my purse, and rose from my chair. "Thank you," I said evenly. This part was easy. They didn't know. They couldn't have guessed what I had already set in motion. 3 years earlier, when I first met his mother, she welcomed me with warmth, or what I mistook for warmth. She arrived at my door carrying a pot of homemade soup, clucked that I looked too thin, smoothed my hair, and called me her daughter. I believed her then. He was captivating, too polished in hindsight. The kind of man who could charm a room with perfectly timed words, none of which carried weight. But I was young, in love, eager to build a future. I taught myself how to love him. He learned how to pretend. By our second year, the cracks appeared. Late nights at the office weren't occasional. They became every night. His texts grew colder, clipped, delayed. And when I questioned it, he told me I was imagining things. One evening, he stumbled home, with lipstick smeared across his collar. A shade of peach. I never wore peach. He laughed it off, claiming it was mine. It wasn't. Later, I found perfume lingering on his jacket. Again, not mine. I didn't cry. I started keeping records. I tracked dates, receipts, his movements. I opened his phone while he slept. The password? His mother's birthday. How poetic. The messages were all there. "She's not right for you. I know a lawyer. She'll fold. She always folds." His mother feeding him poison. They thought my silence was surrender. They mistook patience for weakness. The night everything crystallized, he told me he was heading out of town for a conference. I booked myself into the same hotel. I stood in the lobby and watched as he checked in, not alone but with her, his coworker, half my size and twice as reckless. I didn't confront him. I didn't shout. I took photos, documented every detail, and sent them straight to my lawyer. Then I moved first. Carefully. Quietly. Legally. I shifted funds. Sold the house. My name alone was on the deed. Transferred every joint account into a trust with my name engraved on it. An unshakable wall he could never scale. He would have to fight for scraps. And then I filed. 3 weeks before their little performance at the restaurant. I let them serve me their papers. I let them believe they were orchestrating my downfall. That was the sweetest part, watching them cling to the illusion of control right before I tore it away. So there we were again in that restaurant. His mother sat rigid, pearls at her throat, smile dripping venom. He leaned back smugly, still filming. "You're going to want to turn that off," I told him, my voice calm. He blinked, confused. His mother stiffened. His sister whispered, "What does she mean?" "I filed already," I said. 3 weeks ago. Grounds, adultery, emotional cruelty. My attorney could have served you yesterday, but I told him to wait. I wanted you to enjoy this little scene. The silence that followed was pure music. I also sold the house. "You'll need a new stage for your recordings," I added. He shot up from his chair, furious. "You can't do that." I already did. I leaned in closer. "And just so, you know, your mistress sent me a letter. She said you lied to her, told her we were already separated. She's agreed to testify against you." His mother's hand shook against her wine glass. I turned to her. "Oh, and I filed harassment charges. Those text messages you sent me? They're admissible. I'm sure the neighborhood association will enjoy the drama." Then I stood, calm and unshaken. No screaming, no tears. Just the sound of my heels clicking against the tile as their carefully stacked cards collapsed behind me. Now I sleep with the windows open. I no longer search the shadows for secrets. On my 32nd birthday, I toasted to my own company, peace in a glass. Because silence isn't weakness. Silence is strategy. And sometimes, silence is revenge.